Hi, sports card collectors. So I recently had an experience buying some old junk wax packs on eBay that I thought I would share with the community. And this is a lesson in what to look for if you're trying to determine if packs have been already opened or are factory sealed. And so long story short here, I was looking for some 1986 Topps baseball packs and really just wanted a few to be able to keep and not open, and ended up buying a half a box that also came with some other rack packs and cello packs that I'll just set outside of the view here, out of the way. But yeah, got a pretty good deal on it, and thought I'd hang on to some of them, maybe sell some, and maybe open some. But when the packs actually arrived, I noticed that they didn't look quite right for several reasons. So first of all, one of the things that you may notice here is that normally where there would be a stick of gum showing on the front of the pack, these packs are completely flat. There's nothing. That's how all of them are. So that was obviously a very major red flag. And then as I began flipping through some of the packs, I noticed some other oddities as well. So you probably wouldn't be able to see it too well on the video here, but so as many of you may know, when these packs are sealed at the factory, there is a hot roller that runs across them to seal the packs closed, and you often will see a roller line in factory sealed original packs that run across the seam here. And I looked closely at all of the packs, and there were maybe a couple where you could still see the roller lines. You might be able to see one here at the top, actually, that's consistent from one side to the other. So this isn't the most perfect example of that, but it's one thing to look for in packs that have been resealed. Oftentimes people use like an iron, or I don't know what other methods they use to try and heat the wax and reseal it. Well, it oftentimes will erase those roller marks, and so you may not see them. The heating and resealing of packs also will leave some anomalies on the surface of the pack as well. So you can almost kind of feel with your finger and tell, does this feel like, you know, the front surface of a pack, like an original waxy smooth surface, or is there some kind of unusual texture going on here? And so in the case of this particular pack, there does appear to be some roughness almost over this middle section where the pack could have been resealed. So some of the things to think about. Also, when looking at the packs, you want to take a look at the corners. So what stood out to me on a number of these packs is that the corners did not appear to be in very good condition. Some of them were split. There was actually a rip like down the side of the corner. Some of these look a little better than others, but that is almost also a dead giveaway that the pack has been opened, and that corner has ripped slightly, and then when it was put back together, it shows a rip. So here's a perfect example of ripped right down the seam here of this corner, this pack. If you look in the light with some of these packs, I began to notice there was almost like an oblong shaped section that was a different texture, or possibly not smooth or heated, possibly by the tip of an iron that would go there. Some of the packs also, like this one, came kind of loose, and now that's not totally out of the ordinary for 40-year-old pack of baseball cards, but there were an unusual number that were just not secure at all, and completely loose. I'm going to set a couple of these aside here. So just thought I'd go through and continue to kind of show you some of the telltale signs that stood out to me as red flags that these were not original packs and had been resealed. So here's a big tear. I mean, that could just be from wear and tear over the years, but again, another pack that, kind of a just completely loose flap there. Looking at the corners, yeah, that corner is pretty rough. This one is very rough as well. See that split? I'll run through most of these, and then what I thought we'd do is actually, what the heck, just open these up. And let's see if there's any signs other than the missing baseball gum, which is a complete giveaway. I mean, I'm not leaving any mystery here to the video, but thought we'd open these up and see, well, okay, so whoever enjoyed these packs the first time around, did they leave any stars? Are there any cards in here that we're gonna actually want, or is it just gonna be a bunch of commons? Are there even 15 cards in the packs? What else might be missing? So these are clearly meant to deceive, but not to deceive, you know, a very savvy collector. I looked at these almost instantly, having come across resealed packs before, knew that something suspicious was going on here. In fact, there's some packs in here where this edge, you can almost, it's kind of like a little bit worn or bent upward, like someone has clearly, you know, used their fingers to get under there and open it previously, like this one. Probably not a very good, kind of see a little bit there, a little bit of wear. There's another just really bad corner rip, obvious giveaway. Well, somewhat obvious. I mean, it takes some other signs as well, but let's see if you can see in the light. It almost looks like, too, with some of the packs, so again, the texture is kind of a little weird in this center part, but it almost looks like in some of the packs, the resealer got a little more sophisticated and maybe used like the edge of a hot surface to try and melt a line across to kind of recreate the look of a roller seal there, but it's inconsistent in its width. It's not a completely straight line, and the melting is uneven. It just, you know, pretty poorly done. Well, not that it should ever be done, or there's ever a good way to do it, but it just, you know, just kind of, okay. So here's an example in the camera. I think you can really see quite well that there's obviously a difference in the surface texture there of that portion of the pack, and where it could have been heated with like an iron or something, and actually maybe even took most of the wax off the pack in that portion. Just do a couple more here, and then I'm going to start ripping into these and see what we got. Other bad corners. Not sure what's going on there. This is a little dimpled out, but okay, you know, part of this might be how the pack is wrapped underneath. Again, this is just completely loose here, but you can just really see in this portion of the pack, there is the shape of an iron right there. I mean, that is just completely obvious that, you know, nothing else could have kind of created that difference in the texture and the color of the outside of the pack. Yeah, again, just another loose flap. So I'll say, you know, I got these a couple days ago, reached out to the seller on eBay and said, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but these packs you sent, the wax packs, are very poorly resealed, and gave a list of examples of what were the red flags. I mean, the missing gum, obviously a big one, the loose seals, the different textures, lack of the roller lines that run across the packs, inconsistent texture. Again, you can see it there. All of these signs, and the seller on the listing said they did not accept returns. Well, this seller got back to me within 5 or 10 minutes and apologized profusely. And I found to be very good to work with, and very, you know, honorable in admitting that he did not check the packs carefully before he passed them along, and would certainly honor a refund or a return. So that's what happened. And in fact, he gave me a full refund, and I don't have to ship anything back, which I was not expecting. So that's another reason we're gonna just enjoy these, open them up for the video camera and the audience today, and hopefully somebody else can learn what to look out for, and things to avoid when looking at buying these older packs that have packs that are very easy to deceive and fool others. Again, just obvious kind of outline there, the shape of an iron. That's just funny. All right, another loose pack. Let's just look at the corners all together here and see if we can't see some more ripping. Several of these. That one in particular, very worn, poorly put together, loose flap. I think you get the idea. So let's go ahead, let's get into these and see what we got here. This first pack. Again, it almost came apart with no effort. You can see now on the back of the card, kind of a severe wax stain that almost looks baked on, likely due to heat being applied in that area. That's really a shame. I'm going to destroy probably most of these pack wrappers after this video is over, so they will be going into the garbage and no one will have the opportunity to do this kind of deception again. But I might keep a couple, I like to have them for the fronts of some of my binders, or keep with sets of cards that I have. So other than that, bad wax stain, these cards look fairly sharp and feel pretty crisp. I'm just going to count how many we have here. There's 6, 7. We've got the propaganda piece. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so we have a proper number of cards. It's just missing gum. So this All-Star card is looking fairly sharp. Got a Reds Leaders. I saw, a Record Breaker card. Fairly sharp. So not a very exciting pack, but nothing other than the missing gum that was an immediate dead giveaway that something was wrong, I guess. Let's see how we do here. Reds Leaders again. Oh, Pedro. Friend Pedro again. I mean, my suspicion is going through these, we won't find any probably notable Hall of Famers. I'm severely doubting we'll find anything like a Nolan Ryan or any of the more popular cards that people look for in higher grades that have some of the higher values. Doing too well so far. These cards are flipped every which way. I'm not sure if that's typical collation of 86 tops or not. It's been, gosh, I don't know, maybe 30 years or more since I've opened a pack of 86 tops. So don't normally open old vintage wax packs. I like to keep a few of them just as examples from packs from over the years, and I have a little kind of vintage wax unopened collection, but very, very modest. Yeah, this has been, this is 4 packs in. I'd say pretty disappointing so far, but not surprising given what we know of the history of these cards, I guess you'd say. Eric Davis. Pretty bad miscut, Eric Davis, but not terrible. Okay, we got a Pete Rose card. always loved these cards when I was a kid. I could never afford any of the actual original old Pete Rose cards, but really did like seeing them there. Not too exciting there. Where are we at? Maybe a Pete Rose card is the best card so far. And this is pack number 6, I think. I mean, you not really getting even any decent stars. Let's keep going. So, you know, this pack is ripped up here a little bit. I don't think anything that we've seen so far has changed our opinion of the history of these packs. There's a lot of leaders cards. But not a lot else. We have had 2 minor all-star cards, 1 Pete Rose compilation card. Andre Dawson on that, Expos leaders. But again, those aren't particularly collectible cards. Here we go. I mean, Ozzie Smith all-star card. Take it. I mean, the person who searched these cards didn't take out every single star. And not to make it completely obvious that they've been searched and pilfered, but I will say, I mean, the cards are very crisp feeling, and the edges are fairly sharp. So I suspect, you know, what somebody might have done is bought a full box of 86 tops and opened them all. Tried to open them carefully, kept a lot of the pack wrappers, and then repackaged, you know, some compilation of the cards they didn't want. No name, kind of worthless commons here, into the best condition pack wrappers and try sealing them up, and came up with about a half a box. So I thought this particular, you know, it's always a concern of mine when buying on eBay in particular and not being able to see the packs in person. Always a suspicion that, you know, maybe these cards, Joe Carter, maybe the cards, the packs could have been gone through and resealed. I've had it, like I said, happen before. Oh, I love that. Turn Back the Clock, Willie Mays, sort of Willie Mays card, not really, but I thought, well, the fact that there were other packs, the cello packs and rack packs included with this lot, you know, maybe it's just somebody's personal collection kicking around they're parting with or whatever, who knows what the history might have been. I thought it was more likely to have been legit, but I am proven wrong. And I will say I did not ask specifically any questions of the seller before buying them. I don't know. Maybe that would have prompted them to look at the packs a little more closely, and maybe they would have been able to see or determine themselves, but who knows? I doubt it. You know, honestly, it took me looking at them a couple times to notice some of the irregularities. And I wasn't planning on opening these up right away. I was just going to keep them for a while. And I'm glad I looked at them a little more closely early on. Carlton Fisk. Oh, here we go. This is maybe a real pack. Things didn't get taken out of this one. Mike Schmidt. Rod Carew. What? What is going on here? Like all the Hall of Famers in one pack, a Pete Rose card. This is the winning pack right here. Fernando Valenzuela, record breaker. Steve Carlton. What is going on? This is kind of ridiculous. I don't know. I've never seen a pack like that where half the pack is made up of kind of bigger name stars, but you know what? Not completely worthless experiment here. I'll take them. Yeah. So keep going, just a few left. As I said, I'm just going to keep a couple sort of secondarily sealed just for my collection of, you know, that I display old packs and wrappers, and but we'll go through and open up the rest of these. We got a Kirk Gibson card there. Tom Seaver turned back the clock. Tim Raines. Clyde Evans was decent in his day. We've seen this Tony Perez card, I think, once before. Kent Tukulve, we've seen him at least twice. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not entirely sure what I'll do with the rack packs and cello packs. I might just hang on to them, but we'll see. Another one of those Pete Rose cards. Several in the box so far. Keith Hernandez. Some pretty gnarly miscuts in this box. I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to the condition of some of the cards. You know, as I said, the corners look pretty sharp, and cards themselves feel fairly crisp and not beaten up or anything like that. But who knows? Maybe I'll go through too, and maybe there'll be some, even for commons, some nicer condition cards. I know this is a fairly condition sensitive set with the black border along the top. It's easy to have some white edges or sort of chipping along the edge there. Keith Hernandez base card. Boy, that one pack with all the stars in it, I'm just kind of getting blown away by that. I don't know quite what to think of that. Who knows, if you have any comments, you know, again, I don't find these to be possibly any way inexcusable other than that they've been resealed, opened and resealed, but who knows, maybe there are packs that for some reason inexplicably didn't come with gum. If you've ever experienced that before, I'd be curious to know. I never have, but I don't really think that is a plausible explanation at all for what we've gotten here. Welcome any other comments. Hope you've enjoyed the video. We're going on 20-something minutes. I think that's plenty long for this, and thanks for sticking with me. If you want any 86 comments, drop me a note below, and I'll hook you up with some of those if you want. Otherwise, these are just gonna sit in a stack somewhere. Thanks for watching.